Are you a PMHNP dreaming of opening your own private practice but unsure where to start, especially with all the different rules and regulations depending on your state? Whether you're in an independent practice state like Arizona or a more restrictive state like Texas or California, I am here to break down the steps you need to take to launch your private practice with confidence. Let's be honest. Starting a private practice is not for everyone. Some may not want to go through the stress of setting it all up. I completely understand, and I don't blame those who feel this way, especially given the complexity of managing the business side of things. Running a private practice can certainly be challenging, but I also believe that owning and operating your own private practice can be incredibly rewarding. It allows you to practice in a way that truly aligns with your values and professional vision. Every experienced NP has that potential to build a successful practice, and sometimes taking that step can create an environment where you can provide care that reflects your values. I am passionate about helping MPs succeed and would love to guide you through the process if you feel ready to take that leap. I will also be sharing a free marketing guide to help you promote your practice once it is up and running. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter yet, please do so to get this guide and other valuable tips directly in your inbox. I will also be sending the transcript of today's video to all the subscribers, along with a more detailed overview of the steps, including some nitty-gritty details to help you along the way. Don't also forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notifications to stay updated on my latest videos and insights. Starting my own private practice in an independent state was a straightforward experience, and I'm here to share some key steps I took to help guide you. One of the biggest challenges I faced was finding the right electronic health record system. It was important for me to find something that is functional. I was looking for an all-in-one EHR that is also very customizable. If you like me to make a separate video on the EHR I recommend and why, please feel free to let me know in the comment section. Please don't also forget to check out my other video on the YouTube channel. I had made a video previously on when is the right time to start your own private practice as a PMHNP. So let's dive into what actually brought me in today's video. Let's dive into the step-by-step process of starting a private practice. Number one is financial planning. No business can thrive without a solid financial plan. Create a budget that covers your startup costs, ongoing expenses, and projected revenue. Open a dedicated business account for your practice. Explore funding options, personal savings, loans, or investors. Develop a financial plan with a profit and loss statement, balance sheets, and cash flow projections. I personally would not recommend taking out a loan or seeking investors at the beginning of the process. Also, I will advise against quitting your full-time job while you're trying to build up your practice. Instead, focus on saving slowly and plan for at least 1 year of rent or 6 months of rent upfront. Alternatively, starting with a telehealth practice before committing to a physical location can be a more manageable option. Ultimately, it is up to you to decide the path that best fits your situation. Starting your own private practice is no small feat, and it comes with challenges. As I mentioned earlier, if you don't have enough savings to cover initial expenses, you may have to balance starting your practice with a full-time job. It is important to keep your end goal in mind. The ultimate goal is to build a practice where you're working for yourself and the patient load becomes substantial enough to sustain the business financially. However, this takes time, and it's okay for it to take more than a year or a couple of years to reach to that point. Please don't be discouraged if the growth feels slow. Success doesn't happen overnight, and each step you take is part of the journey towards making your practice sustainable. Step two is to understand your state scope of practice. This is very important. You need to understand your state's nurse practitioner laws. In independent states like Arizona, PMHNPs can diagnose, treat, prescribe medications without physician oversight. In restrictive states like Texas or California, you will need a collaborating or supervising physician to practice and prescribe. So before you do anything, check your state board of nursing and state laws to confirm your scope of practice. Step number 3 is to get licensed and certified. Regardless of your state, you must hold an active RN license. Graduating from an accredited PMHNP program, pass the national PMHNP certification exam by the ANCC or the AAMP. Apply for and obtain your state's APRN or NP license. Also get your NPI-1, which is your individual national provider identifier for billing and administrative purposes. If you plan to have more than one provider in your practice, you will need an NPI-2, which is for organizations. If you plan to prescribe, you also need to if you plan to prescribe controlled medications, you also need to apply for a DEA number and any state-specific controlled substance registrations. In restrictive states, you might need a collaborating physician in order to apply for a DEA. Step number 4 is to choose your practice structure. Now, decide how you want to structure your practice. You can operate as a sole proprietor, a professional LLC, or a professional corporation. In Arizona, you can open your practice independently. The steps are straightforward, especially for telehealth practices. In some states, you may need to form a business entity with a collaborating physician or work within a physician-owned practice. In California, for example, the Corporate Practice of Medicine Act doctrine means only physician can own medical practices. So you may need to partner with a physician or operate as a professional nursing corporation. Please consult with an accountant or a healthcare attorney to make sure your business structure remains compliant. Step 5 is to set up collaborative agreements if required. In restrictive states, you must have written collaborative or supervisory agreement with a physician. In Texas, you need to get a prescriptive authority agreement that outlines how you work with your supervising physician. In California, you will need standardized procedures and protocols and a collaborating physician for prescribing. Make sure your agreements are signed, they are up to date, and meet your state requirements. Step 6 is to register your business and to get it insured. You need to register your business with the state and get a tax EIN number from the IRS. You also need professional liability insurance, malpractice insurance, general business insurance, especially if you have a physical location. You also need any required local business licenses that your city might require. Step 7 is to set up your practice and location. Your telehealth platform. Decide if you have a physical office, a telepsychiatric practice, or both. For telehealth, choose HIPAA-compliant platform. It's even better if the platform also supports e-prescribing, billing, and the ability to order labs and receive lab results electronically. Make sure your telehealth services comply with your state regulations. Some states require an initial in-person visit, or some insurance require in-person visit before telehealth prescribing. Step 8 is to build a website. Ensure your website is visually appealing and easy to navigate. Clear headings, concise information, and a responsive design. It is important for a smooth user experience. Make sure visitors can easily find relevant information, whether it's about your services, pricing, or how to schedule an appointment. Mobile optimization is key since many people access websites via their smartphones. This will enhance the user experience and make it easier for potential clients to learn about your practice and to reach out to book appointments. Step 9 is credentialing and insurance panels. If you plan on accepting insurance, apply for credentialing. Apply for insurance credentialing. Set up a CAQH profile account. This account is important for credentialing. This helps healthcare organizations verify your credentials and makes the high-end process smoother. Credentialing can take several months, so start early. If you're cash pay only, set up your payment processing system. Step 10 is to set up electronic health records and billing. Choose an EHR system that is HIPAA compliant and designed for behavioral health. Set up your billing system, whether it's in-house or whether you want to outsource it. Step 11 is to develop policies and procedures. Create your forms. Create your practice policies for intake, consent forms, privacy, HIPAA compliance, emergency protocols, prescription management. You can find templates online or work with the healthcare attorney to develop one. Step 12 is to market your practice. Now, let's let people know that you're open. Set up Google My Business profile, psychology profile, network with local providers and therapists, join local Facebook groups and community boards. You can also consider sponsoring local events or hosting webinars. One key tip is to start bookkeeping from the get-go. I can't emphasize this enough. Setting up a strong financial foundation early will make your life much easier during tax time and ensure that you stay compliant. Whether you plan on hiring an accountant or using a software, make sure that all your income, expenses, and tax-related details are properly recorded. Step 13 is to stay compliant and keep learning. Stay up to date with your state laws, renew your licenses, certifications, keep learning through continuing education. Before your doors open, make sure that you're compliant with legal and regulatory requirements. Test all your system and processes to ensure that it is operational and ready. And finally, you can now launch your practice and start serving the patients and start serving your patients. So let me give you a quick recap. Understand your state practice laws, get licensed and certified, choose your practice structure, set up collaborative agreements if needed, register your business and get insured, set up your office or telehealth platform, get credentialed with insurance, set up EHR and billing, develop your policies and forms, market your practice, stay compliant. Whether you are in an independent state like Arizona or a restrictive state like Texas or California, you can build a successful psychiatric practice as a PMHNP. It just takes planning, persistence, and willingness to learn. So that is a quick overview of getting started with your own practice. I am Dr. Georgette Kui, and I wish you the very best as you embark on this exciting journey. For those of you who are already running a practice, what has been your biggest challenge? And for those thinking about starting one, what excites you most about opening your own private practice? Please leave your thoughts below. I'd love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.